Spano for Notre Dame and Andrew Greenspan for Virginia to take the opening faceoff of today's game. And Virginia begins with it here on offense for the first time today.
That's a jump on Spano, and he'll have to sit out the next face-off. And Greenspan's been good as of late, 61% on the season. I thought last week against Utah was his best game.
Cavaliers. It's over to Ryan Dunkel here. Shot on the way, just wide to the left of the net by Chase Bann.
The big question I had would Sean Light guard Brendan Millen, number 7, the freshman, or McCabe Millen, who has the ball right now, the junior?
14:33, please, thank you.
Light is an absolute eraser. He's a first-team All-American, a national champion. 90 in Navy is a complete eraser. So that was the big question for me. When he's on McCabe Millen, now Brendan Millen can breathe a little bit.
Let's see how this matchup goes here. McCabe with it behind the net. So electing to go onto the junior Millen instead of the freshman Brendan Millen, who you talked about in the open. Do you think that would have rattled him maybe a little bit today, though? Would that have been kind of a move to make? Instead, UVA, let's get on the scoreboard first. Truett Sutherland, and he scores it. And the Cavaliers, early on, less than a minute in.
Truett's been on a tear. Didn't have his best shooting night on Monday against Dartmouth, but last week in Scott Stadium, Truett hit Utah for 6 goals. He's known as a crease finisher, a guy who can catch it inside and make it count. But he's also underrated as a dodger off of quick ball movement. He's not the type of guy that's going to bring you into space and break you down off the dribble. But if the ball's spinning, he's very good at beating a poor approach by a defenseman.
Well, you just saw it right there. His 27th goal of the season, leading the Cavaliers. And they win the faceoff here with Greenspan.
It's interesting to see what they're doing at the faceoff. Greenspan has taken less faceoffs on the season compared to Griff Meyer. He's been their main guy from a volume perspective, but Greenspan's been hitting it lately.
You're right, 1/3 the amount. Meyer with 146 faceoffs that he's taken this year. That was just the 57th of the season for Greenspan.
And this is no easy task for Brendan Millen because Nate Switchenberg is a dog. 27 in blue on the ball right now, is about as good of a second cover guy as you can get.
So challenges for both Millens today for Virginia, for sure. Here's Will Enderlead. Now it's over to Balsamo. Here's McCabe Millen. Kyle Bergen's on him now. Millen goes in front, shot, score. What a pass to Brendan Millen, who puts it in.
Little brotherly love, Mike. This is a sweet diagonal pass. Notre Dame with an elite defense, only allowing 8.3 goals per game. That's 5th nationally. If you can hit this diagonal pass with Brendan Millen camped out on the backside there, elite vision by McCabe, elite hands by Brendan. He just catches that in one motion. He goes with the catch across his face slightly, and then the swooping motion to a low shot. This kid's hands are gold.
That was excellent right there. His 21st of the season. He leads all freshmen in assists and points this year in the nation. And you got McCabe, who picks up his 32nd in assists of the season.
McCabe Millen leads the ACC in points. He leads the nation in overall points, not points per game. He's been on a tear, and they're using him at midfield a lot now to maximize the offense in terms of the playmakers on the perimeter. And he's such a straight line dodger with passing ability. You saw him operate from the top of the frame offensively. That's a midfield type move.
Now Notre Dame finally getting their first offensive possession of this game here. 2.5 minutes in, already down 2-0. And Behrman has it. Brock Behrman. 2 goals and 2 assists for him in the last game, and the win for Notre Dame is they are 6-0 in the season. They beat Michigan 9-4 the other day. There's Matt Jeffrey, fires away.
If you're Robbie Hopper, 8 in white, you do not go over the head on Matt Jeffrey from that spot, because if he beats you there, which he did, he's shot ready. He'll make you pay.
Trying to do it again, gets inside. Oh, the save made. That time by Merrick. Nice play, but Notre Dame gets it back. Will Angrick. Over to Yago. Yago gets the pick. Yago, another save, Merrick.
Good stop by Merrick. I mentioned in the open, Josh Yago being a 360 dodger. He will go from all different spots. A lot of times, attackmen, they get in their comfort zone, Mike, and they like to dodge from the back corner or a wing on the left or right side. Yago goes everywhere.
Very versatile for Notre Dame. A team that's hard to defend. You and I were talking about it earlier. They just got a lot of different guys. Back over to Jeffrey on the run here. He shoots and he scores. So Matt Jeffrey puts it in for Notre Dame's first goal today.
This is the scary thing about Notre Dame. They're the most electric dodger, playmaker, athlete is that guy right there, forward blue, Matt Jeffrey. He's the 7th leading point producer on the team. This is a team that spreads the wealth. They're ultra efficient. But at the end of the day, when you need a play to be made by an athlete in the middle of the field, find number 4. This is your typical punt return type dodge right through the heart of the Virginia defense. And that kid knows a thing or two about punt returns. He's on the Notre Dame football team.
How about that? You're right, Kark. I mean, 7 Notre Dame players have 10 or more points this season. Face-off here, going to be controlled by Notre Dame. Picked up that time by Spano. And the Irish get one back here, 2-1. Just over 4 minutes gone by in the first quarter today from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Virginia's showing some press ride, and Notre Dame's been elite clearing the ball, 5th nationally at 91%. But Virginia likes to muck it up in the middle of the field and use their midfielders to press between the 30s. I expect a high charging ride from Virginia today.
You were talking about some of the matchups defensively for Notre Dame on Virginia offensively. What about on this side of the ball here?
We got Yago as Fisher Finley hits that one.
What a shot. 4th of the season for him. And the graduate midfielder scores to tie the game.
He's a beast. 6'6", 225 pounds. 2 years ago, he was on the 3rd midfield when they won the national championship, and I'm watching this guy in warm-ups. I'm like, who is this dude yanking the ball? And that is a perfectly placed shot on Merrick. Sweeping lefty overhand shot to the opposite pipe on a right-handed Merrick. He's that big, he's that fast, he's that strong. When you're that big, too, your wingspan, and when you bring the stick back, it's so hard for a goalie to track.
Look at the first 2 that have scored here for Notre Dame, Jeffrey and Finley, 49 seconds apart, and we're tied at 2. And the face-off here won by Henry Metz this time for Virginia. Dunkel's got it. Nice little move, back up top, and over to McCabe Millen.
This offense against Dartmouth on Monday night, I thought was outstanding. The way that they were spreading the ball and their passing, their diagonal passing. When we saw it on the first goal, too, from McCabe Millen to Brendan, their diagonal passing was as good as I've seen.
It was an 18-7 win for Virginia. Won a couple in a row here. Had that crazy overtime, 3 overtime loss against Maryland. Brendan Millen here, already with 1 goal. Save Ricciardelli.
He didn't have an angle there. I thought Schwitzenberg did a nice job of pushing Millen downfield to decrease his angle. When you shoot that right-handed from that spot, the only prayer that you have is a behind the back.
Luke Miller's got it. In comes Will Maharis. Here's a shot, a hard one from the outside, and it goes down for Yago. And Notre Dame has come back with 3 unanswered goals to take the lead.
I like the early offense by the Golden Domers. They sense Virginia is not set up, and I think Maharis does an outstanding job of identifying that, and Yago holding his ground and showing you his range. A little bit of giddy up and blast that by Merrick. Yago's fascinating. 46%. Those are numbers from a shooting percentage perspective for like a crease attackman, a guy who just finishes inside. For a perimeter player to be shooting 46% in Josh Yago, that's going to be tough sailing for Virginia in terms of stopping 12 and blue. And you asked me matchup oriented for Virginia, that's going to be John Schroeder on Yago, and Schroeder is I think a top 5 cover guy nationally, but Yago doesn't need to beat you one-on-one. He can play off the ball, he can cut, he plays within the confines of the offense, so it's not going to be a one-on-one battle as much.
That's going to be a matchup to keep an eye on. Notre Dame has the ball now as they lead it 3-2. Yago with the goal for his 16th of the season. That leads the Irish in that category. Virginia back the other way here with Brendan Millen. And Schwarzenberg, who you said, on defense all over him. Now it's Sunderland. Scored the first goal just like this here. Now he dumps it in front, and the feed and the score for Joey Terenzi.
What a play by Truett Sunderland. You saw him operate from behind the goal earlier to score on his own. This time he is dealing, dishing, and destroying inside to the senior Terenzi. He knows he has a shorty, it's go time. Notre Dame sliding, Virginia capitalizes.
She looks like you, Dad.
Aw, she's got your smile.
Carl.
Yep, your #1 broker's here to welcome your new little dependent.
Actually, we invest with Schwab now. They have everything we need, all in one place.
I can set up her college fund.
I've been learning about new trading strategies.
And Schwab helps me generate retirement income.
All this Schwab is everything you need is making me cranky.
Does somebody need a nap?
Schwab!
Invest your way with Schwab.
Hockey is here. The Spinorama's here. Virtuoso. Intensity coming in hot. Here. Wild turns, clappers, and Saturday snipers. All here. All the excitement hitting us live here. Old school and new school in multi-view right here. The final playoff push and the Stanley Cup final. Oh, it's here, baby, on ESPN.
Tenth year for Lars Tiffany here at Virginia. Back-to-back national titles, as we know, in 2019, 2021. With Kevin Cassis, Logan Greco, Colin Schellenberger with him on staff, and Kevin Corrigan.
It's been an emotional week for Coach Kevin Corrigan and his wife Liz. Liz's mom, Angie Coppage, passed away last week, 93 years old, Farmville, Virginia native. She was a monster Notre Dame fan. His mother-in-law always wanted to know what was happening with Kevin, and Liz is Irish, and she'll be missed dearly. A remarkable woman, too. We were speaking to Coach Corrigan pregame. He said at 50 years old, she went back to college. She was the #1 singles tennis player at Longwood University, back in her hometown of Farmville, Virginia. Angie, you'll be missed, and thoughts and prayers with the Corrigan family.
Yeah, well said, Kark. Same here. 3-2, Notre Dame leads this year early. We've seen a lot of offense so far by both teams. Virginia is or excuse me, 3-3, excuse me, tied up. Virginia has scored 3 of 5, Clark, after winning the faceoff directly, so it's directly correlated to winning the faceoff and scoring.
And their best quarter statistically throughout the year is the first quarter in terms of canning their shots. 40% on the year in the first quarter, and quarter by quarter it dips, but the Cavaliers have found the back of the net in quarter 1 in 2026.
Jeffrey swings it, and a shot sailing wide to the right by Angrick, and backed up by Notre Dame and Behrman. Notre Dame started 0 for 3 shooting, and they're now 3 for their last 4. Joey Terenzi with the latest goal for Virginia, tied it up on the feed from Truett Sunderland. Halfway through the first quarter here, Irish possession. Jeffrey. Miller. And Harris is closest to it.
Watch 77 in blue. I think he's had a tremendous season. Played sparingly, a little bit of an invert midfielder last year. Now he's back at his natural left wing attack spot.
Sophomore had a goal and assist in the last game. Another save here made by Merrick. That's now 3 today for the Virginia goalkeeper.
And he'll need to be 50% or better today, because Notre Dame's going to find seams in the Virginia defense. And Merrick's been playing better each week. When you speak to Lars Tiffany, he said there's no goalie dispute now. Merrick's their guy. They're moving forward with him, and he's got that confidence. When you know you're the guy and it's not musical chairs from a goalie standpoint, you can take a deep breath.
Dunkel thought about it. Now he does. And a save, Richie Ardelli, and all the way out to Jeffrey. He's got 2 saves today.
That's an incredible stop. That ball was going lone away with some serious heat from Dunkel, and Richie Ardelli just makes that save from an explosive perspective. Just top hand speed, body positioning. That was beautiful.
All right, how efficient is this Notre Dame offense? You talked about it. They just spread the ball. They got so many different guys.
It's crazy. 4th nationally in efficiency, shooting percentage, 3rd. I mean, it's clicks on all cylinders, and they don't need one guy. It's not a 1 or 2 type of player show offensively. They beat you with 6 to 9 guys. Watch the way the ball moves, the assisted goals, the spacing.
Miller kind of knocked out of his stick. Great defensive play from behind there as Virginia saves what could have been a goal. Schroeder comes up with it. And gets hit and taken away by Notre Dame.
That's a heck of a play by Fisher Finley, who scored a goal earlier. That is a tremendous amount of mass on that far sideline. John Schroeder's 6'5", Fisher Finley 6'6", and those two are going after it. That's the second failed clear by the Cavaliers.
Virginia scored the first 2 goals of this game. Notre Dame came back with 3 straight in 2 minutes and 8 seconds, and then Virginia tied it up. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining, first quarter of action. Wilma Harris.
He's our quickest player, 16 in blue.
How about Merrick today? Now trying on the outlet for Virginia. Up to midfield here. Lyndon Verville. Being hounded, double teamed. Knocked out of his stick. Good job there for the Cavaliers and Terenzi to come up with it. Fighting through defenders, whistle, timeout.
I thought that was a good one. A little frantic clearing the last few times. We talked about the 2 blown clears, and you just didn't feel right about where that ball was headed. And I think Lars Tiffany makes a good call in terms of stopping play and everyone taking a deep breath.
Tied at 3 with 3:48 to go in this first quarter. Coming up today, women's basketball Sweet 16 continues on ABC. We got Kentucky taking on #1 seeded Texas. That's at 3. Then over on ESPN, Oklahoma facing another #1 seed in South Carolina. And then Virginia, who played in the first 4. Now they're going to take on TCU. That's at 7:30 today on ESPN.
You know, the big question for me is the defense of Virginia, and can Will Merrick hold up in cage? He's got 3 saves, and there's Richie Ardelli.
7.89 goals against average, 6th in the country for him this year, saving at 56%. Gave up just 4 goals, had 11 saves in the last game. That's the thing. It's hard to score double digits on this team.
And he sat on their Liam Entenmann, but Merrick's going to see some serious rubber against this Notre Dame offense today. It's fascinating too, going against Josh Yago. They were both Air Force grads, both using their 5th year of eligibility to play college lacrosse, and they're still active members of the Air Force. Merrick is in nursing school at Virginia and going to be a special ops medic. And Josh Yago, he's in grad school at the University of Notre Dame.
Second lieutenant.
Second lieutenant.
In the Space Force.
Space Force. And these two are going head to head, both Air Force grads. You have a goalie and an offensive player and a shooter. Yago found the back of the net once against Merrick, but that's a fascinating story to me.
Super impressive on and off the field by those two for sure. Here's Virginia now trying to regain the lead. Colsey finds Brendan Millen. Chase Band. Truett Sunderland feeds it. Good job there to retain possession. That was Band knocking it over to Colsey. Shot clock though, 15 seconds. Sunderland again got hit. And backed up by Colsey.
I thought that could have been a push.
The crowd feels the same way. 12 on the shot clock here for Band. Or make it Colsey, puts it back in. 5. That's going to be a shot clock violation. 5 turnovers here for Virginia early on. A couple failed clears. That shot clock violation, Notre Dame possession.
You know, as Jake Merrick gets comfortable with this defense too, week after week, I think the off-ball improvement for the Cavalier defense will come into play more and more because they have their field general back there, a guy who's getting comfortable now.
Well, this is certainly a team going up against Notre Dame that you're going to be tested on for sure in that regard. Here is Yago looking, feeds it behind the net. Behrman. Angrick has it. So plenty of time, 25 seconds on the shot clock. Angrick. Yago calling for it at the top. Angrick gets hit. Nice job defensively, and Virginia comes up with a takeaway.
They've got numbers here.
Hopper fires hard.
I'll tell you, man, when he lets it go, watch out. 8 and blue.
You talk about some big guys, Clark. 6'5", 195 for the freshman, Robbie Hopper.
He lets it go. Freshman, top long stick midfield recruit nationally. He's got huge upside in the transition game. Reminds me of some of the long stick midfielders Lars Tiffany coached at Brown, Larkin Kemp in 2016. As you see them running the break. When Lars was at Brown, I thought that defensive midfield unit created so much offense led by Kemp and Tullett. But Hopper, 8 for the Cavaliers, as he puts on some muscle and he builds into his frame. He's got good cover skills, but he's got elite ball skills. Like when he goes from defense to offense. Sometimes he's a little undisciplined defensively. You saw him go over the head moments ago against Matt Jeffrey. He's one of those guys that will take risks. You love it when it
works out. Yeah.
When it doesn't, it's like, oh.
Gotta live with it.
But if he hits the cage on those shots, it's going in.
Great crowd here today, too, as well in Charlottesville. As we remind you, our NBA Saturday matchup starting with the Pistons at the Timberwolves, 5:30 p.m. And actually all begins with NBA Countdown at 5 o'clock Eastern. It's coming up tonight on ABC. All right, each team has taken a timeout here with 1:37 to go in the first quarter. Tied up 3-3, Notre Dame and Virginia. Mike Corey, Paul Carcaterra with you here today. First of our doubleheader action.
Syracuse, Duke on tap. That's going to be a doozy in the dome. Duke, as good as they've been over the course of the last 10 years, they're 1-5 traveling to Syracuse. Their last 6 games.
I was asking you about teams across the country this year. Do you feel like there's been more parity?
More parity.
Yeah.
Get into the tournament this year. In years past, Mike, I'm always like, oh, you want to stay away from the 1, 2, or 3 seed. There's not much of a difference between 1, 2, or 3 and 8 or 9.
Wow, another big hit. Dunkel goes down. Notre Dame trying to get this back. And it's going to be a whistle, going to be a push on the Cavaliers.
That was good defense. That was good physical defense.
Wow.
With the slide on Dunkel, laying the wood. But back to my point, Mike, in the past, there's been like a Maryland of 2022. You got to stay away from the Cornell of 2025. Stay away from C.J. Kurtz in that group.
Yep.
This year, it's a little different. I don't think there's a huge difference between 1 and 8. So just get into the tournament.
Back over to Virginia. Yeah, I was looking it up. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, Maryland has played in 7 of the last 10 national championship games.
Yeah,
I mean, how impressive is that? They're 2-5, of course, but I mean, still. I mean, it's always a team, though, that you have to think about, right? Year in and year out.
They're also the team that's produced the most pro lacrosse picks. So it's the coaching with John Tillman. It's the development of the players that him and his staff are able to really help blossom. And those guys, not oftentimes the highest recruits, turn out to be the best players.
I mean, here today, you're watching 4 of the last 6 national champions in Virginia in 2019 and 2021, and Notre Dame in 23 and 24, save Richie Ardelli.
That was a heck of a move by McCabe Millen. You saw the explosiveness in that first step.
And that's the end of the first quarter of action. Notre Dame scoreless the last 9:02 of the quarter. And we're tied at 3. Number 1 seeded Notre Dame. 6-0, taking on Virginia, 5-4. Cavaliers trying to knock off number 1. To the second quarter we go after this.
This is what you need to know.
We'll take you straight to where news is happening
and give you what you need to know all in under 10 minutes.
The top stories, latest headlines,
what everyone's talking about.
What you need to know, all in under 10 minutes.
New episodes streaming every day.
Only on Disney+.
This is the show everyone is watching.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide.
Every moment, every game.
I could do what you do. Easy.
Every drop of sweat.
It's tournament time. It's win or go home.
Get your popcorn ready.
All for this. Players walk in, legends walk out. March Madness continues on ESPN. Greatness is now playing.
Welcome back to ESPN College Lacrosse here today. Looking at Scott Stadium here in Charlottesville for the title this year.
Well, look, they have one of the great towns in America. We travel all over the place, different colleges from east to west, and Charlottesville brings it. I mean, it's just a gorgeous community, incredible food, culture. They've got everything here, right? They've got everything. My only question is, geographically, just got to make sure the people from the north in New England, they make the trek and see this gem.
Well, they're out here today, that's for sure. It's not too bad down on the field with the sun shining here in the low 50s today.
Yeah, on the field, it's beautiful here. Up in the booth with shade, it's a little breezy.
A little breezy, a little cold.
Hand warmers in my pocket.
I know. I saw some people in shorts and T-shirts. Braving the weather here today. Face-offs in this game, Kark. What about it?
Yeah, UVA with Greenspan 6-1. Now down 6-2. And Notre Dame finding an answer after Greenspan's been on a roll.
Spano's got it. Notre Dame scored a goal on their only face-off win, ensuing possession from that.
And the other face-off guy, we see Spano there, is Aiden Diaz-Matos. He went to the Brunswick School in Connecticut. His sophomore year, the senior face-off specialist was a senior. His name, Andrew Greenspan. So I'm looking forward to seeing that duel as well.
There you go. Jeffrey for Notre Dame. Stick check on the shot there that time.
Oh, that's a hustle. That is tremendous.
How about that for Virginia?
Jake Merrick does an incredible job of timing that ball and understanding like it's go time to race to the end line closest to the ball when it went out of bounds on a shot. Kudos to Jake Merrick.
And that's one you'll mark down if they can get something on this possession here. Thanks to his hustle, Dunkel's got it. And it's over to Sunderland, who just checked in.
See, McCabe's been playing a lot of attack this game. We saw him at midfield against Dartmouth on Monday quite a bit.
Sean Light defending, number 90 for Notre Dame.
You know, the reality with Millen, 9 and White, is if he plays attack or midfield, he could be on almost every offensive shift because you're not going to ask him to play defense. You're going to ask him to specialize as an offensive midfielder with no over-the-midline responsibility.
Shot that time from Chase Band.
So if you want Millen as a midfielder, I think he can take essentially every offensive shift. A lot like the PLL midfielders do. They're not going over the midfield. You have to surround him by a couple of two-way middies, though, guys that can play both ends because you need defensive support and help to stop any transition.
So would you go Dunkel, Millen, and Millen, or no? You think
and Colsey and Sunderland. So you want to have Colsey, Millen, and Sunderland on every offensive set. Those are your 4 guys that have to be on the field.
Notre Dame's scoreless over the last 11 minutes, but we are still tied here at 3. An extra pass, Iago. High to the air here. Almost recovered, and it finally is now by Notre Dame and Teddy Lally.
That's where a big defender like Schroeder comes into play, right? Iago's 6'3", and he can't shoot around the guy that's 6'5". Gets that deflected right off his shoulder.
Notre Dame putting it through with Lally. After they had missed their last 5 shots, Teddy Lally scores, and they've got the lead 4-3.
Lally was a high school attackman. And offensive coordinator Chris Wojcik loves his upside. You see the quickness in the initial separation. This kid has guts, and he also has a lot of lacrosse IQ. I think eventually, as soon as next year when Josh Iago graduates, Teddy Lally will be an attackman on the field for an entire game. Right now, he's playing a little midfield, coming in out of the box, attacking short sticks, and there's the depth of Notre Dame offensively. They could roll a blue chip recruit who everyone in the country wanted in the Teddy Lally, and he can play second, third line midfield and feast on a short stick.
And he's done a little bit of everything. 7 goals and 7 assists on the season for him.
Here he is again.
Save Merrick, and he gathers it.
I like how Lally mixed it up too. A high bouncer on the goal, and this time just going high to high, but Merrick says no dice.
That's 4 saves now for Merrick in this game for Virginia. And now trail it by 1. 3.5 minutes gone by here in the second. And here's McCabe Millen. He said to me earlier, 90 on defense. Light, we've talked about him. You feel like he's the best in the country.
He's an absolute eraser. Since his freshman year, You watch him play, he's been doing nothing but just erasing top players.
Here's Colsey coming around, and it's off to the right.
If that's on goal, that's count. That was a nice release by Colsey, because when you watch him from that position, shooting left-handed, coming around, a lot of times it's 3/4. That time he just went underhand. Different release point.
Second leading goal scorer for Virginia with 22 on the season. Here's Balsamo. Virginia's missed their last 6 shots here. McMillan is in front of the cage, had an open look, but couldn't get it to him. And turnover. Miller. It's deflected. And Virginia's going to have it.
That's big for UVA. I mentioned earlier, Notre Dame has been near flawless clearing the ball.
Hausman, and the shot was deflected by Schwarzenberg. How about these high risers we've got here today? Coming out of the sky.
Oh, they got numbers here.
Notre Dame. Oh, up top, they tried Lally with a pass. It was a little low.
It's the right look, though. They went down, and then Lally looked up for the cutter. Just a poor pass, but it was the right idea.
Millen scoops it up.
Millen has a short stick here.
Kyle Bergen's on him.
He's going to stick this matchup. Look for Notre Dame to support.
There it is, Millen on the spin, looking in the front. Trying to find Brendan that time. Brendan Millen couldn't get it. Knocked around, Notre Dame has it, and it's light.
What a play by Donovan, 81 in blue.
Will Gallagher gets it over and finds Iago.
Donovan, 81 in blue, 4-year starter. Will be drafted in the top 2 rounds of the PLL. What hands, too. You see him just scoop that grounder, flip it all in one motion.
What about when Notre Dame offensively attack midfield? I mean, they're so interchangeable as well, too, right?
And a lot of ex-attackmen playing midfield.
Yeah. Miller. Oh, that's off the post.
Oh, that ball movement was awesome. One of those ex-attackmen, Wilma Harris, 16 in blue. He's played midfield his entire career at Notre Dame after being an attackman in high school. But you saw the pass, and then Miller. Just the tic-tac-toe, like the ball stays hot in their sticks. Looks like Miller's a little shaken up here.
Yeah. Gingerly coming off the field.
He's a tough kid, too. I talked to Chris Wojcik about it. He said the kid's got huge heart, huge guts.
Try to shake it off. He goes out. Notre Dame here with Angrick now. Angrick checked here by Lyndon Verville. Swing it over to Jeffrey. Gets a step, takes a shot, and he scores it. And that is the second today from Matt Jeffrey.
This first step is nasty. It's like a wide receiver coming out of a break in football, and he happens to be a wide receiver for Marcus Freeman and the Fighting Irish. This is explosive. It's intentional, and that's against UVA's top defender in space. Well, I thought it was Schroeder. It's not Schroeder. But regardless, he's taking Hublitz to the cage there. That just tells you, though, he's the type of player, most times when you have a balanced offense like this, you say, let's attack the short sticks. But there's different rules for athletes like Matt Jeffrey. Attack whoever you want.
Whoever you want.
Because you're that quick, you're that fast.
It was that little juke move to the left.
It was the juke move, but when I talk about how intentional it was, he didn't go east-west with that dodge. He stayed north-south, so he was so explosive. His bottom foot, his plant foot, had tremendous pop, but he didn't go towards the sideline. A lot of times players their
drift
sixth
over,
sense
yeah.
drift. Yeah, he just stayed north-south to keep his angle.
Great call on that, Kark, here now as Notre Dame leads it 5-3 halfway through this second quarter. Jeffrey had scored the first goal of the game for the Irish today and now has the latest one. Virginia's only had one goal here in the last 20 minutes. They're 0 for their last 8. So for the Dunkel. Brendan Millen here behind the net. Off the screen, dumps it in front. The one-timer with the shot, no, by Sunderland.
That's where Brendan Millen is so good. Like, he can come out of his role and he just senses where the defensive pressure, so right out of the roll, he's pass ready. But when you play with a player like that, like, you have to expect the ball at all times. Like, your head has to be up. You have to have the stick in a spot where you can receive the rock and be shot ready.
Here's Sunderland. Chase Ban back to Sunderland. Tough angle shot there. Stays with Virginia. Sunderland had the first goal of this game for the Cavaliers. Also has an assist. Brendan Millen on the restart. 10 seconds on the shot clock. McCabe shoots and scores. McCabe Millen. First of the day.
This is why you want him on the field at all times. Instant offense. Came into today's contest leading the nation in overall points. Pounds that bottom corner. Gets Richie Urdelli guessing. Cavs only down 1.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. And it is again, sensational from Mbappe! With deadly efficiency. What a finish! It's a stupendous goal. A very big argument that he is the best player on the planet.
This summer at Disneyland, kids rule. Let's go on all the best rides. We want to do everything. I want the biggest scoop. I want to see Bluey and Bingo. Todd Stater. We're gonna get sold. We should do that again.
Kids rule summer with a special ticket offer
at the happiest place on earth.
With all the attention on Millen, and Colsey, Truett Sunderland has to come to the party. Last week against Utah at Scott Stadium, 6 goals, a career high. It's the most by an ACC player this season as well. Today he's got 1 goal, 1 assist. I look at him as like the glue guy on this offense, Mike. And when he is finding shooting opportunities, it means the offense is clicking because they have the passers in Brendan Millen 7 and McCabe Millen 9. So if the ball is spinning at hyperspeed, an offense that scores 14 goals a game, look for Sunderland to be involved.
Well, he's taking advantage of those other names that you mentioned and how much attention they have brought, because Sunderland's actually leading the team in scoring goals. He's got 27.
Yeah. And Colsey's number 2. It's just the Millens are so balanced with their goals and assists, and just their feeding's been exceptional.
Yeah, that's a dangerous group right there, to say the least. We've had no penalties in this game up to this point as well. We've had 4 different scorers for Notre Dame, 4 different scorers for Virginia.
And it's not just the feeding of both Millens. They're playmakers that can beat you off the dodge, so they draw a double. So when they're drawing a double, a guy like Sunderland, who's so good off ball, has to make his presence felt.
And he's proven it. Face-offs in favor of Virginia, 8-3. Chance to tie it up here, coming up on 6 minutes left in the first half. Sunderland has it. McCabe-Millen.
I would expect Notre Dame to have to deal with some picks by Virginia as well, because Notre Dame, they don't care as much about matchups. They'll switch off picks. So if a guy like McCabe-Millen has light on him, if you send a pick his way, they will switch. They're not so matchup conscious.
Well, there it is, but he fought right through it.
Well, he had a lot of room to slip through that.
Plenty of that time. Does it again.
Yeah, they're not setting the pick like from a context standpoint. It's there, but it's almost like a window dressing pick.
Well, he's got to get closer to roll kind of off it, like you're saying. There's Chase Bay, 12, trying to set a couple. And Brendan Millen trying to save it from going out, but could not. Notre Dame has it. Buzenkel has it. Timeout. Taken by Notre Dame.
Like the call by Kevin Corrigan. Understand Buzenkel might be under a little pressure, and Virginia pressing out Kevin Corrigan in year 38 at Notre Dame, and what a job he's done over the years. And when he came to Notre Dame, it was not the lacrosse powerhouse that it is now. He built it from the bottom up. National championship in 2023 and 2024, and that was after a bunch of years being so close. The biggest heartbreak of them all was in 2010 when C.J. Costabile, the long stick midfielder from Duke, wins that face-off in overtime and calls game. And they went to the Final Four many times after that, but they broke through. And Kevin Corrigan, like what he's done for lacrosse in the Midwest and making South Bend a destination for top recruits too. Kudos to him.
Well, and for sure the longest active tenured coach in Division I, and it has been special for this Fighting Irish team as they lead it 5-4. Tonight, ABC's hockey is underway. Flyers and Red Wings. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern. Also available on the ESPN app. And our NHL Saturday night.
So after the timeout, we could look for Notre Dame to get the ball in the playmakers' hands, and Matthew Jeffrey, I think, has been the most explosive player. Wide receiver on the football team. You see his toughness, his grit in the middle of the field, going right through the heart of the Virginia defense. Count it. And then the explosive first step. That is just power, that's acceleration, and that's the IQ to keep his angle. So coming out of that timeout, I look for Jeffrey or Josh Yago here. Josh Yago's got the matchup against Schroeder, and this is a good matchup for him in terms of speed, not so much using the body, because if you go in the body on Schroeder, and Schroeder's been a little banged up, so I wouldn't be surprised if Yago takes a spin on him.
Well, Lally just there trying to spin. We got it back out to Jalen Seymour here for Notre Dame as they lead it 5-4, 4.5 to go in the first half. Fisher-Finley, excuse me.
So it looks like Coach Corrigan is taking his midfielders, putting them behind the cage there, testing the Virginia short stick D-middies, who at times have struggled.
It's Yago here, checked by Hudson Houseman.
Houseman's been good. He's one of their best players in the middle of the field. Aggressive, 15 in white. But Yago has this matchup on a shorty.
Gets a spin, shoots, and the save by Merrick.
It's 5 for Merrick, and telling his old teammate at Air Force, not today.
Playing strong here to start this game. It's been 4 games in a row that Notre Dame has held their opponent to single digits in scoring.
Yeah, and Richie Ardelli's been great the last few games. 52% against Maryland, 63% against Ohio State, and then last time out against Michigan, 73%, so he's trending up.
Yep, look out, Houseman to the shot. And the race to it, Richie Ardelli there for Notre Dame.
I feel like Virginia hasn't been in a flow offensively. You know, they went on a 16-minute scoring drought. I think Brendan Millen needs to control the ball a little bit more. Where Notre Dame, it's less player specific to be successful. There's Hopper. This is why he was such a coveted recruit too. His ability to pick up a ground ball and get it to the other end.
That's a great play by Hopper right there. As you said it, now it's on the offense here and a chance to tie this thing up. Second quarter shooting, Notre Dame 2 of 7, Virginia 1 for 9.
There's Brendan Millen coming up from the midline.
McCabe's got it here up top. Fires, save Richard Dillon. And a great outlet, and that's 5 saves for him here today. Reinhardt shoots and he scores. Chris Reinhardt.
It's a big time play by Reinhardt, the sophomore short stick defensive midfielder. Last time out, McCabe Millen in the stare down with Richie Urdelli. He won that battle, beating Richie Urdelli low. This time Richie Urdelli high says 2 for a buck, and it's off to the races. And I love how Reinhardt continues to go down the middle of the field right now, because no defensive player for Virginia is stopping the ball, because they're more concerned about Yago on one pipe and Miller on another, saying, Reinhardt, you're not an offensive threat. And Reinhardt says, okay, I'm going to make you pay. You don't pick me up, I'll stick it. But that is awesome transition by the Irish.
Yeah, it was, and that's his first goal of the season, and puts Notre Dame up 6-4 here as Virginia wins the faceoff. That's the 5th different goal scorer for Notre Dame in this game.
And Reinhardt was an offensive midfielder in high school. Ridgefield, Connecticut. He was a teammate of Ryan Colsey, 13 and white for Virginia. He played all offense, so he's very comfortable with the ball in his stick, running from end to end.
Well, you just saw it. How about the way it started from the outlet from Richie Urdelli?
Beautiful stop, head up, striking in transition.
Dunkel's got it here for Virginia right now as they trail by 2.
I want to see the ball behind the cage with Brendan Millen more. 7 and white, I think he should be behind the cage, handling the ball. He's buried right now on the crease.
Sunderland's got it.
Now he's starting to go behind. I feel like the offense is at its best when it goes through him behind.
He's working his way back there. He is now. Sunderland has it though at the top. Feeds the middle and a shot to score from Enderlead. Will Enderlead on the goal.
Virginia likes to share the rock. Number 1 in the nation in assists per game. 9.8 per. And Enderlead right there does a fantastic job of moving upfield and filling that seam at the same time. That's Truitt again, man. Truitt is coming to play. Truitt's eyes are up. He senses, okay, I have the short thick matchup. They're going to support this. Can I get their eyes on me? And then Enderlead senses that and follows the same trajectory of where the defensive shift is.
You said it, Sunderland's making some great reads today. He's got 1 goal, he's got 2 assists. It's a 1-goal game with just over a minute to play here in the first half. Let's see how Notre Dame plays this here. About a 9-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, and Virginia trying to force a turnover.
Failure to advance.
Yeah, here comes a flag. Multiple flags are thrown. 1 on each side of the field.
Got 20 seconds to clear the ball on the 80-second shot clock. The first 20, you got to get it over the mid-stripe. I know it was touch and go from that perspective.
Fouls on blue, number 16. Delay game. Technical foul, 30 seconds. Shot clock goes to 80.
Gotcha. So it's delay a game because it was failure to advance. You got to put the ball down. So you allow a quick restart.
Got it.
By him flipping the ball, that slows down the ability for a quick restart. You're doing time.
Great call by the officials there. So Maharis out for 30 seconds. Our first penalty of the game here today. Now Virginia's got to grand opportunity to try to tie this thing up late in the first half.
Watch Colsey on the left side and watch Truitt eventually go inside here.
Truitt 3, Colsey 13. Dunkel feeds it down low. Millen on the shot. Rebound. Rich Yardelli's got it well out of the cage. Notre Dame, excellent job to get it over. Christian Alakwa for Matt Jeffrey. Corralled here by Iago. And he throws it away. 13 seconds left here in the first half.
You've got time. You got to push here. You got to push.
There we go. It's over to Terenzi. Being hounded and taken away. They shoot it, and that's the end of the first half.
Set in the open, partner. Virginia's defense would have to hold up, and I think they've done a good job. They've given the Cavaliers an opportunity to stay in this game against the #1 team in the country. Both offenses are electric. The defenses, I think, have come to play today. They've been gritty. They've been on the same page. There's a sense of unison. We've got a good one.
We sure do. This has been a great game so far. 6-5. Notre Dame has it at the half. And Kark, you'll be coming up along with Charlotte North with our next episode of The Cross. All that and more is on the way here at halftime. From Charlottesville, you're watching College Lacrosse on ESPN. Welcome back to Charlottesville. Halftime here. Notre Dame leads Virginia 6-5 in the first ACC game of the season. Speaking of which, some of the most exciting players and plays of the season coming up right now with Paul and Charlotte in the latest edition of The Cross.
Look, I am an old duck, and if it's not an espresso that's getting me going, I need some lacrosse energy. And one source of juice is a good goal celebration, Charlotte. The game's best celebration comes from BC freshman Lily Condis. She's a 5'10" attacker from Fairport, New York. She goes berserk when she scores goals, and I absolutely love it. BC has struggled this season, but has a bright future with Condis, who scored 5 goals on 5 shots last weekend against UNC. The Eags have found an Energizer Bunny in Condis.
The Duke Blue Devils also have an Energizer Bunny, but it's between the 30s. It's Aiden McGuire, the short stick defensive midfielder. He pops off of the TV screen with the energy he provides and the motor that he has. He does so much for this team that does not show up on the stat sheet. He boxes out on wings for faceoffs. He gets ground ball runouts. He locks down his matchup. He does the little things that completely fires up his bench. It's that energy that really fuels this Duke team.
Each week, we see some pretty insane highlight-type shots. What do you got for me, Ocho?
We got the best player in college lacrosse right now. We've got Chloe Humphrey going behind the back. One of her 8 goals versus Boston College this past weekend. She is so slick around goal line extended with both hands. Right here, this is pure instincts. The way that she has the elite stick work and awareness to pull this shot to the back pipe while she's losing her angle, running down the right alley. She's a defense's nightmare with the way she never stops moving off ball.
Cornell's William Firth stuck a nasty with authority BTB in Cornell's win over Princeton. You know a left-handed Canadian driving right-handed's coming back to his strong hand. Firth had 2 goals and 3 assists. 2025 national champ and Tewaaraton winner CJ Kurse was in attendance to see Cornell win 7 straight over Princeton. The Big Red, still kings of the Ivy. You know, Charlotte, I think the goalie position has been incredibly deep the last few years. I want to give some love to the 2-year run Army's Sean Byrne is on. He was lights out last Saturday at North Carolina in the 12-11 loss, making 17 saves. That's 11 straight games with double-digit saves for the senior from the state of Georgia.
Senior goalkeeper out of Syracuse, New York, Dan Guyette, has been equally as impressive. She has back-to-back games with only 5 goals allowed. She's incredibly patient. She remains steady, she's composed, and she doesn't see a ton of shots because of her defense, so that just speaks volumes to how she's able to remain steady throughout the entirety of a game.
With deadly efficiency. What a finish! It's a very big argument that he is the best player on the planet.
Welcome back to College Lacrosse here today on ESPN. You're watching the ACC on ESPN with this first conference matchup of the season, Notre Dame and Virginia. Welcome back to Klockner Stadium. Mike Corey alongside Paul Carcaterra. Pretty good game here, 6-5. You said you love the defense right now for both teams.
I do love the defense. These offenses have been so explosive this season, though. Can they hold up? I expect this game to start opening up a little bit more transition, press rides, but the goaltenders have been fantastic. Jake Merrick has 5 saves, but it's also his play outside of the crease, running out shots at the end line to get possession, picking off passes. The transfer from Air Force has been spectacular, but Richie Urdelli in cage for Notre Dame equally as impressive with 6 saves. But I think Truett Sutherland has been a story in this first half, coming around from behind the goal on the right goal line extended area, burying that shot, but he's been spectacular passing the ball with 2 assists too. The best athlete on the field with the most pop so far has been Matthew Jeffrey. He's got 2 goals. It's been a little bit of his coming out party, only 10 points heading into the game and 6 games under his belt. I feel like this is the stage where he can really pop and show you his athleticism and make a play, a one-on-one goal in a game where there's been some tight defense. The playmakers have to be able to dodge and create offense.
Well, Jeffrey's coming on. Like you said, he had 2 goals in the last game, already the 2 here today. Here's your first half stats up to this point. 9-4 in the faceoffs, but again, doesn't show up on the scoreboard as Virginia is down by 1.
Andrew Greenspan's been spectacular for Virginia. After the first quarter, it was 6-1 and the face-off advantage for the Cavaliers. I expect Kevin Corrigan, who's always masterful at finding ways to get the ball off of face-offs. Maybe not win the draw, but win the overall war and get the ball into the offensive set.
All right, we'll take a timeout when we come back. Start of the second half from Charlottesville, Notre Dame and Virginia right after this.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth. And it is again, Lamine Yamal. Sensational from Mbappe. With deadly efficiency. What a finish! It is a stupendous goal. A very big argument that he is the best player on the planet.
Welcome back as you're watching the ACC on ESPN. Conference opener today for Notre Dame and Virginia, #1 team in the land, the Fighting Irish, taking on March Tiffany there and Virginia Cavaliers.
So I mentioned earlier how Kevin Corrigan's so masterful at figuring out the face-off, right? So they've been getting dominated a little bit. Now he's got 2 poles on the wings. One is Will Donovan, who's exceptional at scooping up ground balls, 81 in blue, and then Schwitzenberg, the other pole. So now he's thinking if Virginia wins the draw, then they have to deal with all the pressure of those poles. So look for Greenspan to get harassed if he wins the draw.
Well, he went early there on that one, so he'll be out for the next one. Spano has been taking the face-offs for Notre Dame. Good call there on the poles. We'll see if they can get a goal here on the opening face-off win of this second half as they lead at 6-5. Will Maharis. Spanos won 5-13 face-offs for Notre Dame today. Oh, wide open shot. Score it, Jake Vasquez.
I love this play. Look at the two-man action between Yago, 12 in blue, and Maharis, 16 in blue. So Yago comes up, Maharis sets the pick, but then he slips the pick, and he is instantly ready for a shot here. That's exceptional two-man pick action, because Yago, the ball carrier, everyone's concerned about him sweeping across the top, Mike. And then Maharis holds his ground as a pick, but then immediately slips and then is asking for the ball, receives it, shot ready.
And my fault there, Maharis, as you called it on the goal, 16, who now has 9 on the season for Notre Dame, and they lead it 7-5.
Virginia was so concerned about that pick and overextended to play the ball carrier that Maharis just, he slips it.
In terms of the clears today, we've had 3 failed clears by Notre Dame and 4
now
by Virginia, now 5.
That's a disaster, too, because that's just 2 players not on the same page. I don't think Terenzi ever thought he was going to get the ball there.
And what happened there? Here's a lock one now for Notre Dame as they try to clear it. And Rich Iardelli gets it over midfield, finds Angrick.
That can't happen if you're Virginia, because Notre Dame will make you pay.
Now Virginia trying to get it back, and they do. And then John Schroeder.
There's the middle of the field presence I talked about. Like, that's how the game can get opened up.
Yep.
When Virginia brings up that pole, in this case it's Schroeder. In the past, like, Cole Castor was unbelievable at that for Virginia for many years, where he would roam the middle of the field on the ride as like a free safety, and then you had this 6'7" guy covering a ton of ground. Well, Schroeder's a little smaller, but he's 6'5".
Colsey here for Virginia. Fires, he scores it. Look at that. Ryan Colsey strikes it through, and the Cavaliers are back within 1.
All right, follow me here. Do you remember moments ago I told you in the second quarter, Reinhardt, the goal scorer, was an offensive midi and a teammate of Ryan Colsey? Well, when Ryan Colsey is staring down 24 in blue, the first thing in his mind is, you played offense with me. You're not defending me. So the high school teammates square up, and Colsey says, it's go time on you, Reinhardt. That is a moment. There's no shot Ryan Colsey's not taking that matchup. There's history there. There's the understanding of, you were an offensive midfielder playing with me in high school. You're not guarding me here in a college lacrosse game.
And it's also the fact that Reinhardt scored a goal earlier today as Sperno takes it in. So Reinhardt scores the first goal, and then he comes back and gets one himself.
That was a big stop by Merrick. You know, it was great at halftime. A bunch of Merrick's Air Force teammates came up here and were talking to me.
That's who you're talking to.
Yeah, they're boasting about their goalie, saying, you know, this guy's so tough, and he was a walk-on at Air Force, and he comes here to nursing school, and Lars Tiffany doesn't even know he's on campus, and they have a meeting, and then he gives him a tryout. Now he's a starter. This is a young man that is a tremendous leader. Tremendous.
Playing well today. Here's Dunkel behind the net for Virginia as they try to tie it up here at 7. We've played 3 minutes so far this third quarter. McCabe Millen's got it. Gives it over to Brendan Millen. Brendan on the spin, tucks it in front, the shot scores Sunderland. What a pass, a no-look pass to Sunderland for his second goal. We're tied at 7.
Mike, I said it in the second quarter, the ball has to go through Brendan Millen behind the cage, because he's always pass ready, and he understands pressure and where the defense is shifting and where those small little seams are. And then there's Mr. IQ who's cutting on the backside. There's Merrick. Well, Merrick makes that stop, and that fuels this offense. Look at the vision of Brendan Millen, and just to throw that pass across his body in an instant, like, that is high-level stuff. And Truitt's the perfect glue to that. Perfect. He doesn't need the ball in his stick for more than probably 20 seconds today, and he can make his presence felt.
What a pass, what a finish. That was from the freshman Millen to Sunderland, who's got 2 goals and 2 assists here today.
And that's a perfect example of Notre Dame not winning the initial draw, but winning the possession. And that's all that matters.
Yep, exactly. I mean, you give all the credit, it feels like, to the face-off guys with a win, right? But it's not always them who grab the ball, you know? I mean, it's crazy. You got to have that support, and you talked about it here to change the second half up.
A lot of people talk about face-offs as a 3-on-3 battle. It's really a 10-on-10 battle because you can get the attack and the defense involved too in a specific situation like that.
Shot here from Miller, doesn't go.
And we talk about the leadership of Jake Merrick. He was a squad commander at Air Force in charge of 100 cadets. He can lead a defense.
Yeah, this is nothing, right, compared to that. And another save on the shot that time from Brock Bierman. Whoa, more hits. 7 saves from Merrick. Virginia to Colsey.
That's a heck of a play by Hunter Houseman. Laying the boom on Matt Jeffrey. Continuing upfield with the ball in his stick, being mauled by a bunch of Notre Dame players to get the ball in the offensive set.
Here's Houseman. Again, lays a hit, feeds the pass. Shot, save.
What a shot. That hit the pipe, I think.
Hit the post, yep.
That was a tremendous take by Ryan Colsey. The fact that he caught that ball and then he drops his foot in the ground, gets the defense to commit, and then moves upfield to increase the angle. Just hammers the top crossbar.
You could sense, you felt like Virginia was going to get something on that here now as Rich Iardelli in some trouble, is going to take it over himself. Job there. And now Notre Dame looks to take the lead. Offsides, the call.
You feel this game is picking up, like the intensity, the urgency.
Last Virginia lead was 2-1 with 11 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. They scored the first 2 goals of this game with Truett Sunderland and Brendan Millen. Matt Jeffrey's got 2 for Notre Dame, and Sunderland has 2 for Virginia. Only 2 players today with multiple goals. McCabe Millen. Terenzi coming back in, gathers on the run, feeds the pass. Colsey outside, shot, save. Rich Iardelli that time on Chase Band's shot. Rich Iardelli again coming out of the pack with it.
He's made a couple plays outside the crease there.
Yeah.
With massive pressure.
And he's got 7 saves here in this game for Notre Dame.
I feel like the Notre Dame offense needs to take a breath. They played a lot of defense. The ball's on that side. It's getting a little bit dicey. Good possession here. And this is a matchup that you want to stick eventually. With Iago has McCabe Millen trapped. Right. So look at the early help. Just if he even shows that he wants to go. There's the switch. Too many men now. Virginia has too many guys. So this is a free play for Notre Dame.
Yep, 7 out there right now.
See, this is the tricky part. When McCabe Millen plays a little attack end midfield, it's the on-field responsibility to always have 3 in the offensive end.
Number 10, too many men. Number 10, 30 seconds.
Caught him that time.
Caught him. The best way to handle McCabe Millen, if you're platooning him at attack and midfield, and you want him on every offensive set as a midfielder, he basically can never have defensive responsibility. He should never cross the midline. That should be the responsibility of the other 2 midfielders he's playing with.
So man up here for Notre Dame. First of the day. Feeding, spinning, oh, Ball got knocked out of the stick from behind that time. Iago was right in front of the cage.
Yeah, that's the look he wanted. Looked like the ball kind of went to the top of his stick when he was rolling.
Ball's loose. Virginia coming up with it and killing the penalty. Good job there, Luke Jamin.
That's a big stop for Virginia because Notre Dame's extra man has been nasty. 57%, third nationally, but they ride it back.
Iago, he comes back with a caused turnover. Now they're going to call the push, and it's going to be Virginia ball.
Yeah, Virginia's man down last year was top 5 in the country for most of the season. It's been their 6-on-6 off ball protecting the inside that they've kind of struggled with this season. But that was a big stop.
We're seeing some pretty good hits in this game here today, too, as well. Here's Notre Dame, Iago. Transition, look out, he scores it.
Disaster zone for Ryan Dunkel of Virginia. We're going to watch the tape there and just say, what happened? We talked about Matthew Jeffrey and his pop athletically. Look at the explosiveness off this ground ball from Josh Iago. This is a big-time explosive play with contact, foot race. It's Iago against Virginia. Advantage Iago.
Hockey is here. The Spinorama's here. Intensity coming in hot here. The final playoff push and the Stanley Cup final. Oh, it's here, baby, on ESPN.
Hey, sports fans, the ESPN app has all of ESPN all in one place. Visit activate.espn.com to see if you have ESPN Unlimited as part of your TV package for no additional cost. It's all of ESPN all in one place. Sign up or activate now.
Back in Charlottesville, Virginia here today for College Cross on ESPN. ACC matchup, first of the year for Notre Dame and Virginia. The Fighting Irish now lead at 8-7. Great crowd on hand here today, too, as well at Klockner Stadium. Latest goal was just scored by Josh Iago, who's got 2 now today for the Irish. And the third quarter face-off wins have been in favor of Notre Dame, 3-1. Overall today, Virginia 10-7.
Something about spring lacrosse in Charlottesville, right?
Yes.
You just, people on the hill, the stomping of the bleachers.
Yep.
You hear it. It's one of the great places for college lacrosse. One of my favorite places to be.
And this is when the lacrosse season really picks up, right? As we enter the month of April coming up here soon.
First ACC game of the season. Next up, we got the doubleheader. Duke travels up to Central New York and plays on the surface of the dome. Thanks, Cuse.
It's coming up right after us. Cam Manna and Quint Kasnick on the call. Stay tuned for that. So we have 6:25 to go here in the third. And Notre Dame leads at 8-7, trying to tack on another one here. Lally's got it. Iago's behind the net. This is Jalen Seymour. Luke Miller. Good movement here by Notre Dame. Shot off the post again. And Lally recovers it. They've settled down now a little bit here. Pass deflected, taken away. Virginia's got it. Michael Meredith here.
Tough pass by Busenkill, 23 in Navy.
Hausman scores it. Hudson Hausman ties it at 8.
He's a beast. He's a two-way stud, playing more short stick defensive midfield this season. But I envision him to hit the back of the net a bunch before he leaves Charlottesville. I'm talking to him pregame. This guy's snapping sticks left and right because of the physicality and the way that he thrusts and cross-checks guys and likes to get into the body defensively. He told me he doesn't want to play with too thick of a shaft because he wants to be able to shoot. He feels like the regular offensive midfield type shaft allows him to stroke the way that he wants, and that's a perfect example of a short stick D-midi with the green light to create offense.
Wow, great call. Yeah, when he's got that opportunity. Third goal of the season for him. A big one to tie this game at 8. We've had 7 different goal scorers for Virginia in this game.
And you could argue Virginia could be up a couple goals.
Right.
They've had some costly mistakes in the middle of the field.
Virginia has lost 4 straight to Notre Dame, including that tough overtime loss in the 2023 semifinals. Last time they beat Notre Dame was here in Charlottesville. 12-8, and here's a shot to score. Notre Dame goes back in front. Maharis again.
Buckle up, Mike. There's some serious pop out of the midfield at Notre Dame. We talked about Matthew Jeffrey and the explosive first step. Will Maharis is one of the quickest players on the team, hands down. And what I love about Maharis is how he's evolved over his career. Comes to Notre Dame as a tackman, has to kind of get acclimated to the midfield position. He's shown you his two-handedness too. Like, this guy stroked one with a step down, right-handed in this quarter, and then shows you some versatility lefty on the run. I mean, this guy's turning into a total package, 16 in blue.
That's his second goal today. Yago's got 2, Jeffrey's got 2. Starting to pick up here now for Notre Dame. They're back in front, 9-8. Millen. It was McCabe Millen, now over to Brendan Millen, who controls it here for the Cavaliers. As Ender lead comes back in.
Virginia's battling. 4 losses on the season. A lot of people wrote them off. Can the defense hold up? Do they have the depth at the midfield? They've come to play.
McCabe Millen's got it. Guarded by Sean Light. Assess Light's play today. 90 for Notre Dame.
Well, the fact that you haven't called his name much is telling me that he's not on the back end of getting beat.
Right.
He's locking down.
McCabe Millen has 1 goal today. That's who he's been on from the start. Balsamo save Richie Urdelli.
I think Richie Urdelli's been really good high today. You've seen him stick on a bunch in the last couple quarters.
Look out, transition, excellent defensive play there by Virginia to knock that one away. That was Schroeder.
I thought Schroeder was closest to the ball when it went out of bounds on a shot too. That ball goes to that back corner. He's way closer to that corner. But that's the second time Schroeder's been hit by a ball. Right, just closing on an attackman about to shoot. He's massive, 49 in white.
And that was a real opportunity there for Notre Dame on the doorstep, and he shut it down. Fighting Irish still have it. Angrick has it. Up top, Yago, he's wide open, and it goes off the post. Jeffrey closest to it as it goes out. What a shot there. I mean, there was a lot of space that time for Yago. Third post hit by Notre Dame today. Miller was calling for it down low. Yago now does get it over to him, and he feeds to the middle. And turnaround shot that time from Maharis. Almost his 3rd goal today. brick. Irish putting the pressure on here on this possession. He shoots high over the cage. Behrman is closest. He's going to put it back in. Nothing there that time. It'll be Miller, 30th shot for Notre Dame today.
I think Virginia, from the beginning of the season too, it's not the on-ball defense. Like, they defend the ball carrier well. They have the athletes, they have the range. It's been the off-ball defense. And Notre Dame's hit them in transition a few times off of blown clears and scramble plays. I think the defense has held up for the most part against a prolific offense.
Miller, Merrick got a piece of it, the save, and Schroeder's got it here for the Cavaliers. Well, that was the thing you told me coming in. That was where this game was going to be won or lost. You felt like that was a huge key in terms of that off-ball defense for Virginia.
But you have Yago's race to the goal off a blown clear. Matthew Jeffrey, similar situation. They haven't settled a ton in picking apart the Virginia defense. I think this is a defense the last couple games that's played better. Can they hold up in the fourth quarter? That's the question.
Well, it all came after that Maryland loss, that 3 overtime loss. They said they had that fourth quarter where they were winning by 1 late and they got tied up, ended up losing in the third overtime, but then they come back with 2 wins in a row. And now here today trying to knock off number 1. It's McKay Millen.
You gotta have Brendan Millen behind the goal here. You got to. 7 and White should be behind the goal.
And the ball is knocked away. There you go. Just we were talking about Kark in transition. Notre Dame, Will Donovan on the pass, the extra pass, the shot, the save.